Hey everybody, it's Josh Rutledge, your co-host for FearScape Paranormal Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to support us more, please head over to our website, FearScapePodcast.com. There you can click on store and browse some really awesome t-shirts and maybe pick a couple up, or even go to our Patreon page and see how you can support us monthly. We love bringing you awesome content just as much as you like listening to it. Enjoy the show.
The following program is presented for entertainment purposes. WCHQ does not necessarily endorse the ideas presented.
FearScape is a program that explores the legends and lore around many creepy and scary things. Information is researched and presented in an entertainment fashion and is presented based off of what we found. Legends have a way of changing over time, so
beware. FearScape.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to 100.9 FM WCHQ. This is FearScape. We are here, as always, every week, bringing you the best in the spooky, the ooky, and all the scary, weird stuff. We're here. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Josh Rutledge.
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
That's right, and I'm Stefan Gearhart, and we have a very special show today. We've got the man himself, Keith Age, here from the Louisville Ghost Hunters Society. So I've been trying to get this guy for a while, and I'm glad we got you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for asking me.
Hey, heck yeah, we love having guests on here, and so this is our Gettin Spooky with Keith Age. That's what I'm talking about, man. And but yeah, we've got a really cool show. We're going to talk about all the stuff with him, things he's been through, things he's seen, and all that stuff. But before we get into that, we got to get into some spooky news. So I have a fun one. The title itself of the news article grabbed me because it simply says, "Exorcisms make a 21st century comeback in Minnesota." Not the United States, but Minnesota. And this comes from the Star Tribune up there in the Twin Cities. They say that the article says they arrive with a crucifix, a book of prayers, holy water, and a conviction that the Holy Spirit is at their side. Infrequently summoned for decades, the Catholic exorcists say they are now being beckoned across Minnesota and possibly the nation as pleas from the faithful to cast out the devil are on the rise. Bishop Andrew Cozens of the Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis says sometimes they hear voices in their heads. They have reactions they don't understand, fits of rage. Sometimes it's a depression they just can't shake, and psychologists just cannot help. Exorcism is, as we know, we've talked about it a lot, is considered a relic of the Dark Age, but it's making a 21st century comeback. And the Catholic diocese, including in St. Cloud and Winona, Rochester, say they are now sending their exorcists to a new U.S. institute that trains spiritual warriors. No official data is available yet, but Catholic leaders say that more Catholic exorcists in the United States are today than any other time in recent history. So that's happening.
Well, so opportunity, somebody can come up with iExorcist, an app for your phone.
Oh, the iExorcist.
Yeah. You get an app on your phone, you put in what type of symptoms you're having, and it exorcises the demon for you.
Right. You know, I don't know.
It's got to be Catholic.
Yeah, it's got to be Catholic. And it's interesting. It's like, I don't know why the Catholic Church shied away from this. I mean, you know, you think about growing up in the 70s and 80s and things like that, and that's all you could think about because of movies like The Exorcist and Amityville Horror. And
well, and maybe that's why they shied away, because there was so much public attention, put on it. So.
Well, even then, I mean, the priests in those books and movies both were like, it shied away, that it was so hard to get the church, which is why Ed Warren had to do his own, right? You know, like everything like that they talked about.
Well, there's a whole lot more to the Exorcist story than what you saw in
we're
the movie.
We're going to be covering that next month, actually. Roland Doe.
Well, I'm the first one that actually investigated the house.
No, did not know that.
Didn't know that.
For SYFY channel, The Haunted Boy, The Exorcist Files.
Ooh, oh. Nice. Yeah, we're covering that whole story next month as well. I love that story. Save those thoughts. Lastly, it just says not everyone who believes they are possessed and requests an exorcism gets one, though. But it says, it goes on to say priests are trained in combat. They talk about this institute that's happening. It's called the Pope Leo the 13th Institute. And it's actually based in Illinois. It was founded several years ago by Midwestern Catholics to offer intensive courses on the spiritual basis for exorcisms and how to perform them. And they can now use, for the first time ever, an English language version of the medieval Latin exorcism prayer. It became available in 2017.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So do the demons know English? I mean,
I think they know everything.
okay.
But if there's one that's like, oh, thank God, I've been wanting to get out of here forever.
I don't understand Latin.
I didn't know what they were saying. I'm kind of new. But yeah, so Minneapolis, keep on busting them demons, man. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, that's a little bit of spooky news for you. All right, so we'll jump right in to Creepy Ketchup. Josh, I know you said you had a little something because I'm just anxious to get into this interview.
Yeah.
So let's get into some Creepy Ketchup here.
Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Y'all, it's creepy.
All right, Josh, so you were telling me a little bit about it earlier, so go ahead and share with everybody what your little instance you had.
Yep. So my wife just recently lost her grandmother, and I was over at their house where she spent the majority of their time, and helping them work on something. And I went to the restroom and heard Grams say in a muffled tone, "Hello, dear," like she always used to say whenever we came over to the house, and muffled like she was maybe out in the hallway or down the hallway a little bit. So, yeah, it was. I've only recently kind of turned on my antenna again to pick this kind of stuff up. Yeah. So it's just really neat to experience a lot of this stuff again.
So like just the same way she always said.
Oh yeah, just like she was standing in the hallway or in the living room. Yeah.
You say you were in the bathroom, or you just?
I was in the bathroom.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's awkward. It's extra awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it was. I'm glad it was muffled. Maybe that
That means she was behind the other side of the door.
Right.
If it was like clear as day,
yeah,
and
right.
you just see toilet paper floating, like, here you go, dear.
Yeah.
And so I know you had said something like you had mentioned it to the family, and did they take that?
I mean, I think they took it okay. Obviously, my wife got sad because it was very recent.
Yeah, it's recent. I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think they took it. They do. My wife asked the question, why didn't she cross over? And so I can't answer the question, but it's just maybe that causes her a little bit of angst to know that she's stuck around.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that has some people are very excited to hear that spirits have stuck around, and others are frustrated by it because they feel, just like you said, that it means they're stuck.
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't think any of us really, really know. But that's why we have this show, so we can keep on looking for answers, right?
Yep.
So, but so shout out to your family and Grams. You're out there. She's probably here right now. She's like, hello, dear. She's behind that window. So
if we hear a knock on the window.
Yeah, run. Anyways, that was Creepy Ketchup.
Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Creepy ketchup. Y'all, it's creepy.
And, of course, that theme song was brought to you by Brad. Suck it, Brad. Anyways, let's get into this. Keith, thank you so much for coming out here. I've been wanting to meet you for a very, very long time, been following your work for a very long time. And very excited to get you here. When we reached out to the Louisville Ghost Hunters Society, you were the last person I expected to get. So I was very excited about it.
I still run it. So
yeah. Well, you're big time, man. Right. Too big time for us two small warts. But no, we just wanted to just kind of pick your brain and talk to you about some stuff. I mean, I know the first thing I had read somewhere that you were 16 ish when you first started this. I've been into this for as long since I was a little kid. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, there's so much stuff, and I never thought about putting together my own group. Like, it was just me and my sister could see stuff and do stuff, so, you know, we just did it. So what was that like for you at 16, and what made you decide to do that?
Well, I didn't put the Louisville Ghost Hunters together until 1996.
Right.
So I wasn't 16 anymore at that point. But when I was 16, all I cared about was music. And I was a professional musician at that point. I've been playing out since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And I was already on the road with several big name bands doing coliseums and playing and stuff like that. So I didn't think anything. This is the 70s. You know, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
That's what the whole life was back then. And I come home, met this girl, and she never would take me home to meet mom and dad.
Never a good sign.
Yeah, you know, so, but I had hair down past my butt and the full rock and roll 70s look.
Yeah.
And I kind of figured, well, I guess she's just either A, ashamed of me, or B, you know, she don't want to get hit. You know, one of the two. How dare you bring this home, you know. And finally got to go over there for her 16th birthday. And we just met and everything, and she turned 16 just right after I did, and got to go over there, and it's a little ranch house here locally, and we sat down on the couch and met her dad and mom, and I could see down the hallway to the master bedroom where the mirror is, and it's got our reflection in it.
Yep.
Clear path, nothing. Something kept walking back and forth, breaking that view, and I was like, all right, what the hell's going on here? Who's down there? And she said, well, let me be truthful with you. She says, it has nothing to do with who you are or how you look. We have a ghost in the house, and he doesn't like mine or my sister's boyfriends. And I went, okay, let's go smoke another one. This is the 70s, you know, who knew?
Right.
And so me being young, dumb, and stupid, I got up and went down there and checked. There's nobody down there. You know, 4 or 5 times I did this, and I just start calling this thing out. Show me, prove to me, I don't believe in you. Do something, you know. Let me know you're here. And finally, when I went to kiss her goodnight inside the house at the front door, I bent down to kiss her, and something just grabbed hold of my left arm.
Man.
And I mean tight, and the first thing I thought of was, oh hell, Dad's got me.
Oh,
you know.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
And then I could see him sitting over in a lazy boy. His eyes are about the size of saucers. He knew what was getting ready to happen. And next thing I know, I'm flying backwards through the front door, through the screen door, and I landed about 6 feet out past the wall.
Wow.
And I remember laying there trying to catch my breath. It did. It knocked every bit of air out of me. And I remember laying there and just going fingers, toes, what's working, what's not.
Yeah.
And then I thought, that was so cool.
Yeah.
Do it again. And that's what got me started.
Been hooked ever since.
Yeah. Once, you know, a lot of people think they have paranormal experiences. And when they have that first true paranormal experience, they pretty much get hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, and our old co-host and I used to always talk about, too, like, you know the difference. When it hits hard. And no, I didn't mean that as a pun. But we also, like, talk about a lot that people that when they finally do have that real experience, it's like they can't turn it off either. It's like from that point on, it's like
they've seen you.
Yeah, they've seen you, you've seen them, and it's go time.
Right.
I've never seen a ghost.
Oh, you haven't seen anything
like
yet?
You or I sitting here.
Yep.
I'm not psychic. Not at all. You heard the story about the guy getting hit with bricks at Waverly Hills and all that. Well, that's me. And if I was psychic, I would have ducked.
Well, you know, it's the same way. I've never actually seen a ghost. I've had experiences. I felt the, I guess, effects of a ghost doing things, but I've never actually seen a ghost. And so,
I've been thrown through walls and doors and stuff like that.
Smacked and held down, but I've seen. I've seen stuff out of the corner of my eye that I'm pretty sure was a ghost. But when I was a kid, I've told my story on here that I saw a woman literally standing over me, blue. I could see through her. I had just gotten whooped by my step-grandfather. I was crying, and I could see her standing over me through, just as clear as we are, except for I could see through it, and you had this blue glow. And then I blinked and she was gone. And years later, a medium was like, "Hey, your aunt's here. She wants you to know that was her standing over your bed." You know, and it was this moment because I'd never shared with anyone, but I went to Catholic school and I told Sister Mary Patrick, and she said it was my guardian angel. And so I kept that with me forever, that I just saw my guardian angel. Turns out it was my aunt that passed away 5 years before I was born. And so I can still see it crystal clear, her standing over me.
Yeah, I've had things thrown at me, and I've seen things like where you could see shadow footprints of like people under a door.
Yeah.
And then you look at the CTV of the camera that's shining down the door, and there's nothing there. Just little things like that, and but those are big things in the paranormal world. You're right. Nothing has been proven yet. Not one single thing. And I have my own views on a lot of stuff. And, because I've been doing it for so long.
Right.
But,
and we do. All the people we've met, everybody's got different views. There's some things people are similar on, some things people aren't, some things people
I've been
think
called
they don't.
anti-psychic, and I'm not anti-psychic. I'm anti-idiot.
Yes, I think we all
There's
are.
a big difference, When you've got some people that are out there, and they're in for the money, and they're standing there going, "Oh, I feel this, I feel that." And I'm like, let me just shoot you now before I rip into you. And because that's, they're just cluttering up the field. And the field, when Ghost Hunters came out in 2004, we came out in 2005, that was the big explosion.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
Yeah, and then Patrick with Haunted Evidence, those were the three big shows at the time. And they were for several years, and then everybody else decided, let's cash in.
Right.
I mean, that's like, I can remember when Zach was shopping Ghost Adventures, wanting to get a ton of money for it, and he ended up selling it for only several $1,000s to Travel Channel. But, I mean, now he's done.
Yeah, he's making money now. Yeah, he is my arch rival. I talk a lot of smack about him on here. I don't like his methodology at all, but that's another thing for another time. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and it's sad because the oversaturation now has also made people look at it like reality TV. Like, with just reality TV in general, people are now like, well, we all know it's scripted now, and so much of it's coming out.
Some of it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I will admit, none of it that we shot for SYFY was ever scripted.
Yeah.
And that's one of the good things I liked working with the Booth Brothers for all the movies and stuff we did. If I could prove what it was, we said what it was.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things on the thermal. I mean, I got stuff from the FLIR, and I'm like, I have no idea what this is. So we sent it to FLIR, and these are science-based people, and they're like going, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And we're going, you tell us.
Yeah, right.
You created it.
Yeah, it's your camera.
Exactly. I actually got introduced to you when I was living in Albuquerque. I went to high school here, but I'm originally from Toledo, Ohio. But at this point, I'm living in Albuquerque, and I had seen the Spooked, the Ghosts of Waverly Hills. That's one, because I was like, oh, this is from my hometown. I'm so excited. This is so cool. And that's how I got introduced to you and your group and things like that. And then, of course, living in Louisville for as long as I have, you can't throw a rock without hitting somebody that was in it. So the Louisville Ghost Hunters Society. Yeah. So what was that like? How did that so you went from, let's talk about the initial days. It was just you and a few people. Was it about 12 people or so?
Yeah, roughly about that.
And you guys get together, and how did it just explode like it did?
Because of the timing.
Just timing, perfect time, perfect place.
Yeah, the Booth Brothers came up to Waverly Hills to film an independent horror movie called Death Tunnel. All right. Matter of fact, me and the Booth Brothers, when me and Chris Booth first met, we didn't like each other.
Sounds like me and my wife.
It was just, oil and water.
Yeah.
And we've come to be closer than brothers. The three of us have. But I'm just kind of up there doing our thing, which was doing the tours and investigating as what we can. And here I'm being bossed around by some British bloke. And then we sat down and talked and worked everything out because they were there just to film that horror movie. And that's it. And, if anybody's seen Death Tunnel, it's an independent horror movie. It's all it's supposed to be, but it's based on some of the tales of Waverly Hills.
Right.
All right. Well, while they're there filming that, real paranormal stuff, things were happening to them, and they had never experienced that, and
That's
especially on
amazing.
film. And I mean, the first thing they were getting was EVPs, electronic voice phenomena.
Right.
And then down in the tunnel, they really got some really good EVPs and stuff. But the biggest thing was they brought me dailies one day, and dailies are what you shot the day before, and you go through it.
Yep.
There was a shower scene. Well, in any independent horror film,
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta have
a shower
a
scene.
shower scene, and big-breasted, blonde-haired women, and they said, we about drowned this poor girl shooting this scene. And I'm like, what do you mean? They said, we shot this thing 26 times.
Wow.
And I was like, why? And they said, look, we went through lighting, every technical issue we could think of. What is this? And they showed it to me. And you see this black mass. So the camera's pointed at the girl in the shower. See this black mass would come in from the side and just stand there for a minute and then move off. But it did this like 30, 40 times.
Wow.
And what is this? And I said, well, welcome to my world. It's a shadow person.
Especially at Waverly, yeah.
And Chris Phil Booth goes, well, what's he doing? I'm a shot, mate. and I said, I guess he liked the view. So, that's just how that all went. And so from that's how actually Spooked the series got started.
Really?
Yeah, because that's when they just said, why don't we shoot some stuff independently?
Right. Since we're here.
Yeah. And that's how I did it. Sony picked up Death Tunnel, and everybody thought Death Tunnel was going to explode, and it didn't. And Universal picked up Spooked, which Universal owns SYFY.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then they'd already had Ghost Hunters.
Yep.
So, they just had it. They bought it, put it right in line with the second season, the first opening of, Ghost Hunters. And that was their biggest night up to that point.
Wow.
It was like 8 million people watched, at one time.
Yeah, I did.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely did.
And then they called us up like 4 days later afterwards and said, what else you got? And we're going, I don't know. So then we came up with Creepy Kids, Children Ghost Spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And that ended up turning into Children of the Grave.
Yeah.
So it just started from there.
Kids creep me out more than anything in terms of like in a horror movie. You can give me a clown, you can give me a vampire, but you give me a demonic kid or something, I'm gone. Like I don't know what it is. Kids and old ladies.
I don't like kids. When you talk about your night hag that was, or is it Brad that was a child?
No, that's mine.
That's
yeah,
you?
the little ones.
Yeah, that bothers me.
I get the little guys with like long arms.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. So. So I was, curious. I don't remember what season it was of Ghost Hunters, but there was the whole controversy with the string and the jacket, and I wondered how much, because it was such a widely broadcast show, I wonder how much impact that had to.
Not much, other than internally within the paranormal world. One of the things that they never ever said. You can't put a brand name, anything, on your show unless you have permission. And what a lot of people don't realize is, if there is a label on a jacket, you got to cover that up.
Yeah.
And that's what people were hitting on. Look, it's tape on his jacket. It was covering up a label. Now whether it was stringed or not, I don't know.
Yeah. And
now I've known Jason Hawes for 20, 25 years, and I don't think he would ever go for that. I know the fights that him and I have had with different production companies, and him and I were hauled back and forth between the lawyer's office a lot. So
it just always made me wonder if, whether, because I don't think it was ever really, they, of course, came out and said that it wasn't a thing, and then but people do what the internet does what it does, and like examine and over-examine a video and zoom in and zoom out. And I just wondered if that had any negative impact with
just within the paranormal community. Okay. And of course, Grant lived on to do it because now he's back. He quit Ghost Hunter for almost 5 years, and then now he's back doing ghost hunting.
Which I'm glad. I really like Grant.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, Grant's a great guy.
Yeah.
Love him to death.
He's the one I connected with always.
Yep.
You know, like I said, me and Hawes have known each other for a long time, and Steve's a great guy too. I'm glad to see they both have their different shows and their different types.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
It is really cool.
Now, you know, we had made a joke that you can't throw a rock in Louisville without hitting a member. What's that like to have so many members, and like, how do you decide who goes on hunts and who does what, and kind of what's the process of get to go on a hunt?
Well, the way we do that is, even though there's a lot of people who have quote joined
Right.
the Louisville Ghost Hunters, they're not real fully members, and only the active members get to go out on ghost hunts, and those are the people who pay their dues, which is $20 a year.
Right.
Help pay for the website, which that thing gets hit so much. $20 a year doesn't, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw some more money at it.
Yeah.
And so that's the only people that do get to go out. And the way that happens is I get, just like you contacted me, that's me that gets every email
Right.
and everything else. I get an email saying, hey, we need help or whatever. We have a questionnaire you can fill out on the website, and then it comes back to me and I read it. A lot of times, you know, there's been plenty of people who just want to try to be on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And especially in the heyday. It's not so much now. And then there's plenty of people who are just nuts.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you've got people who really seriously
Legitimately need something.
Need something.
Yeah.
Something, you know. Not everything's paranormal. And like you said, the double-edged sword, it's been done so much now. People jump at, it's a demon.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's a demon. You know, they jump to that conclusion.
Right.
Very quickly.
You know, and it's not that stuff. So once I get that, I give it to my case manager, vice president, and he puts together a team.
Right.
And a lot of it, they get up here, and once he gets the information, he contacts the client, talks to them, see if it is kind of a legitimate thing. Most of the time, within the stuff we tell them, look, get your piece of paper, get your pencil, write down what happened, the time and date, and we'll see if we can get something to correlate.
Yep.
You know, and you know, you keep a journal, you'd be surprised on how many people are awakened at 3 a.m. in the morning because the brand new dishwasher has an electric timer on it.
Right.
You know nothing about
Yeah.
it, and when it goes off, it's just going. "Urgh." And on the other side of the house, it sounds like a demon stomping through your kitchen.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing people don't realize is that, you know, a good ghost hunting group it's not trying to prove that you're right. It's trying to look at both sides and to see what we can find.
Right.
And, you know, and that's kind of how we run our show. I definitely think we lean more towards the belief side, but we always try to look at other views as well and to try to take it apart because, you know, you don't, if you can find a logical, real reason for something, and you, like you said, a timed dishwasher, then good. I don't want to have my family scared the whole time.
Right.
Right.
Do you have people that, or you know, in your experience, have you done, I guess, hunts where the explanation was something like that? You know, something that can be explained that people were unwilling to accept.
Oh Lord, yeah.
You must be wrong. There must be a demon.
Yeah, if somebody is convinced their place is haunted, it's haunted. No matter what you show them, no matter what you tell them. You know, you can sit there and say, look, Jesus Christ has certified this, that you're not haunted. You know,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If it's in their brain, it's haunted. That's
Right.
why when we do investigations, there's a lot of people who are doing it for the first time. They're gung-ho. And we tell them, you know, keep an open mind. Don't go in thinking, oh, yeah, it's haunted. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, if 99% every little crack, noise, you know, something is going to turn into a demon.
Right.
Older houses settled. You have mice
Right.
in
And
the
on the
attic.
flip side, you don't want to go in going, it's all fake either.
Right.
You know, and that's where I think a good ghost hunting group works the best, in my opinion. Like those ones that just go out to disprove everything. I mean, I can come up with a reason for everything, why it can be or can't be. And it's like, that doesn't mean there's proof either way. So
Right.
it's like,
You know, I use this a lot, but we had a case where a guy called me and says, you got to come out now.
right now.
Yeah, and I'm like, why? And he says, I'm going to walk away from my house. And he goes, just leave everything, the bank can have it. And he goes, I had another team out here. They were here for 15 minutes and left screaming, saying I had 7 demons living underneath my stairs. He goes, if you don't come out tonight, I'm walking away.
Close to Legion over there.
So I went out, and we stayed there for off and on 6 months, and showing him, look, this is what's causing this. Your imagination is going just 90 mile an hour here. Once you thought somebody you thought was legitimate, who sat there and said, "Oh, you are haunted." Now everything's haunted.
Right.
And like he had went to Walmart 2 weeks before and bought a brand new big screen TV. Well, so did the neighbor next door, who you got 2 houses on the left and right side of each other. He puts his TV on the left side of the wall. Neighbor puts his TV on the right side of the wall.
I know where this is going.
And even though there's 2 brick walls there, it's line of sight.
Yeah.
For infrared. But he didn't know that the other neighbor had done it.
Wow.
And the other neighbor had taken his TV back several times, thinking it was defective because it was changing channels and turning off and on. But this guy's thinking, oh, the demon must love, WGN or something.
One of the 7.
Yeah.
He was watching Supernatural.
Loves Oprah.
Yeah. Or Lifetime, so just little things like that. And he said, the kitchen door closes and opens on its own. Well, no, it closed on its own. We never saw it open. And he says, well, maybe I just assumed it was doing that. I said, well, maybe you're halfway right. Took just a level, put up on the door, and it's like that much out of plumb. Like, you don't need us. You need a carpenter.
Right.
You need a carpenter. Or it's a good draft. You just need some insulation.
Yeah. And just little things like that. Finally, after 6 months, I said, we're out of here, man. And he says, well, where do you think the demons went? I said, I think they left 15 minutes after they got here.
I used to live in Shelby County, and they
took it. Did the library up there?
Well, they redid the police station a few years ago, and they kind of took over for Shelbyville Police. They took over an older building, and one of the detectives or an officer or whatever would come in every morning, and his desk drawer would be open.
Right.
And so I don't remember who they had, but they had somebody come out and do an investigation, and they caught it on film coming open. And they went back and checked, and they put a ball against the wall, and it rolled across the floor. The floor was unlevel, causing the drawer to open. So there was no paranormal explanation. But I will give them credit. I mean, they found that was the issue, and they told them that was the case, and so.
Oh yeah, and
it wasn't 7 demon cops.
No.
Where's the donuts?
It's the Scolari brothers.
But but I've run into stuff that we just can't give you an explanation for. Some of these places like Post Town. I love Post Town in Ohio. One of my favorite places. It never fails to do something, but it doesn't happen every time.
Yeah.
So just I filmed a show for PBS, which had nothing to do with ghost hunting, up at Post Town with Roberta Simpson Brown. Do y'all know who she is? They call her the Queen of Screams.
Oh, then yes, I do. Yeah.
And she's a little old lady, and she's a storyteller. And that's a dying art, and I wanted to get some of her stories on film.
Right.
And Post Town has an old school stage, and I lit it up and everything, and we gave her a microphone, gave her an audience, and people loved it. They were just enthralled listening to her. And I had 3 cameras set up. I had 4 microphones set up by the stage, 4 Tascam mics. These are, mic recorders, DR5s. I don't know if you're familiar with that stuff, but that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff does not break down or give you false positives or anything like that. So we had 2 of them on tripods, basically in front of the speakers. And, you guys know how everything works.
Yeah.
Between cameras and audio and everything else. And then you go back into editing, that's when you put it all together.
Right.
So we're sitting there, and she's only supposed to do 2 stories, but she got such a good response. She goes, would you like to hear another one? And of course the crowd, clapping, yeah. And as it dies down, I am 15 feet away from the stage, on stage left, okay? My assistant is between me and the stage. Out of nowhere, up in the front of the stage, you hear, "Yes, please." And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and she's going, "Please tell me you heard that." I was, dang, I just hope the microphone picked it up.
Yeah.
You know. And
Did the mic pick it up?
oh yeah,
Good.
but Roberta didn't hear it, and she was right there. At it.
Yeah.
But she didn't hear it. We hear it. So just little things like that.
Yeah, I love storytelling. There's a woman that I'm friends with here in Louisville she's one of the last breed too, or Janice Molnar. She's such a good friend, and she has some crazy stories. She does a lot of stuff at the Steamboat Museum, and
She was just at Corn Island, wasn't she?
yeah, she's
Which Roberta just did her very last Corn Island.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. I have tried to learn as much as I can from her over the years, and it's a shame that that's kind of going away. But anyways, speaking of stuff like that, have you ever had an instance where you did, because all the stories you ever hear are like, oh, they're absolutely in danger, we've got to get a priest, have you ever had an instance like that where you've dealt with people where you felt like they were in danger?
There have been plenty of cases where people think they're in danger.
Right.
Okay. But that's because, this is happening, and angst gets built up.
Right.
And but they don't know who to call. Luckily, here in Louisville, I know an archbishop,
Okay.
and who you could get them in touch with him. Not that he's going to go do an exorcism.
Right.
It takes a lot of steps to get the Catholic Church to authorize, an exorcism. Even though if you go to Minnesota,
Yeah, Minnesota, they're everywhere apparently.
But if a lot of times if you just get them in contact with someone, you're helping them.
Right.
You're easing their mind, okay? Unless Casper's sitting next to them going, "Hi, hi, hi,"
Yeah.
stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I've been involved in several exorcisms, and like I said, we were the first to actually film at the Exorcist house, which a lot of people think is up in like Washington State and stuff like that. It's not. It's in Missouri.
It's in Missouri. Okay, yeah.
All that happened in Missouri. There is no long staircase, though.
Yeah.
where the priest
That
jumps
one
out
I
the
think
window.
wasn't that filmed in Chicago, I think?
That was
or
filmed
was
up
it
in
DC?
Maryland.
Okay, yeah, so they're around the DC area, that's right.
Also, it happened to a little boy, not a little girl. And that little boy grew up to be a rocket scientist for NASA.
Yeah, yes he did.
And so he's retired now, though.
It's interesting. We just watched that documentary that they did with the what's his name? Not Blatty, but the director of The Exorcist, where he went back with that.
Freakin'.
Yeah, Freakin'. And he did the documentary with the Exorcist, the old Exorcist guy, the actual priest that did it. It was really kind of cool.
Well,
So I always wondered, will priests do an exorcist if you're not Catholic?
no, it's Catholic dogma.
yeah, because I mean, you probably because even in that article it talked about after
Catholics
that.
created it.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
you could get into Episcopalian and Lutheran, which is kind of Catholic light, and it says they do train them as well. But yeah, I think Baptists are just going to throw Bibles at the house.
But you're talking about Freakin' and Blatty. There's only 2 priests alive that helped with that, and they're still alive. They're 80 and 90 years
Yeah.
old. The last 2 that really had something to do with it just died.
Yeah,
And we were lucky to interview them and talk to them for the Haunted Boy.
yeah,
And there's 2 things that really got me interested in this. Now, I've known Linda Blair for a long time, so talking to her about some of the stuff, she just said, "Look, it was crazy."
I'm sure. Yeah,
And they actually broke her back filming that thing. And but she's like, the Exorcist curse. I'm like, I'm not
Right.
so much into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's like the poltergeist curse.
yeah. And so the 2 things that really got me interested in this was the priest kept a diary that they typed up after every time they talked to this boy. And I'm reading it. It's a 16-page volume, just excerpt. And I'm reading this, and they're saying that every day he's writing in Latin on his bed. So instead of having sheets, they put down paper on his bed, and he'd write.
Just on the
So
bed.
I'm like, how does a 12-year-old boy learn Latin?
Right.
It's not, especially in the 1950s. You know, it's
Yeah.
not taught unless you're going to be a priest. Second thing is, they have an excerpt from a janitor, his very first day. He walked by and they said, "This is XYZ." And he said he started working, and he said he was whistling, that the little boy was whistling after him, you know,
Yeah.
mocking him, everything he's doing. He said he turned around and looked, and he said, "This boy is floating above the bed." He says, and they do have him shackled.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that is the only thing that is holding him. And this came from a janitor who quit right then and
Right
there.
then and there.
Yeah, I would too.
And I don't think I
Now
would have
this-
stuck around.
Now this is a Catholic. It's not there anymore. It's torn down. But this was a Catholic church hospital. You know, and they ended up taking him to another place. If you watch the movie, we show it where they actually kept him on the 5th floor in the attic of this place. The second thing that got me was we asked the Vatican, because that's where this the thing where the priests wrote everything, where it's actually kept now, is in Rome.
Wouldn't you like to get into their archives?
Oh,
And,
yeah, that's, yeah.
You know, we offered money, you know, exposure, and they're like, no.
Yep.
All right, so we said fine. So then we started tracking down all the furniture from this little boy's room. It is in a government facility,
Wow.
locked. I mean, they actually pointed guns at us and said, "Get out."
Wow.
I mean, you know, you see the thing from Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's
You know,
exactly
yeah.
what I was
That's-
thinking of. Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with here. And we're like going, you know, this is a big army warehouse. And we're like going, okay.
So there's like
Why?
an Area 51 for paranormal.
Right. And all that's in it is the bedclothes and a bed, a dresser drawer. And there's one cross left. It's actually in the St. Louis Museum. That came off of the top of this church. So
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm
that's what got me interested. And we was talking about, you know, I'm not psychic.
right.
There's only been 3 places that I've ever been where the hair stood up on the back of my neck. This is one of them. When I walked into that house and just went, whoa, something does not feel right. And the other 2 places was Gettysburg up at Round Top at night, and then the other one was Little Bighorn or Custer's Last Stand. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and those are the moments I like, are the non-psychic people that get experiences like that, because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that means even more to me. You know, like, whew.
Like-
But I'm excited because we've got that doc on the boy on our list to watch when we cover Rolando. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited about it. Phew.
Well, if you can't find them, come to me. I'll be happy to help you.
Will do. Will
Oh,
do.
We only made 10 of those suckers for a SYFY channel.
Yeah. So one other thing is like, what's one of your favorite stories that you like to tell? Of course, we got to ask this. You know, your favorite story of something that happened during your time. You know, whether it be frightening or funny, it's kind of up to you.
One of my favorites is the haunted toaster. And
Like Ghostbusters 2.
yeah. Well, this lady calls me up and she says, "You need to come out and look at my haunted toaster." And I'm like, "Well, what makes you think your toaster's haunted?" She goes, "Well, it's my dead ex-husband who's haunting it." And I'm like, "Wow."
What's it doing that you're
Yeah,
drawing
wow,
that conclusion?
wow, you know. She says, "Well, it burns a toast every time, just like he liked it." And I was like, "Really?" She said, "You know," I said, "See that little knob on the side there?" And she said, "I've done turned it all the way down." She goes, "This is the second toaster I've gotten from Walmart."
That was my next question.
and she goes, "And it just keeps doing it." I said, "Well, okay, take it back to Walmart." She goes, "No, I go to Walmart every day. Those poor people work so hard for their money. I don't want that mean old SOB haunting them." I'm like, "Okay." I said, "Throw it away. You know, just do without toast." And she goes, "No, I couldn't do that to those garbage men. They work hard." She goes, "I make them cookies every week. You know." She goes,
She make him toast?
I don't want him riding in the cab."
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
what she said. So I said, okay. I said, we're going to get rid of your ghost for you. Really? I said, yeah, we're going to get rid of your ghost. She goes, how you do it? I said, you got a paper towel? She said, is that all I need? I said, yes, ma'am. Just need a paper towel. She said, I hear her rip a paper towel off. I said, lay it on the counter. She says, okay, right next to your toaster. She says, okay. I said, unplug the toaster. She said, all right. I said, now grab the toaster, turn it upside down on top of that paper towel. And you hear a clunk. So I know she did it. You know? And she says, now what? I said, lift it off. She lifts it off. I said, what do you got? She says, oh, my Lord in heaven, I've got his ashes. So I'm like, okay, roll that up in a ball and go throw it in the garbage. She says, I have a disposable in my sink. I said, even better. Just turn it on and flush that man out of your life. So not everything is haunted, and people just want to talk.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
So you do a lot of on-phone investigations.
I got one from Our Lady of Peace. I got a thank you note from a doctor. Lady had sent me all these pictures. Her and her husband had decided to spice up their sex life. Mm-hmm. All right, so she'd hired 2 other gentlemen to partake. And, well, she got excited before the husband got home and she was partaking. And they were taking pictures. Husband got home right in the middle of it going on, dropped dead from a heart attack. Right there on the floor, blam. She went crazy. I mean, she ended up at Our Lady of Peace. And, you know, she sent me this. And the biggest thing was she'd been looking on the internet about orbs.
Right.
I am not an orb person.
Yeah, we're not really either.
Yeah.
And there's this clear shot of her and these 2 guys enjoying what they're doing, and they're taking the lampshade off of this lamp, so you got a bulb.
Yep.
And then you have this big bright orb. All right. Well, you can tell that's not dust. There's nothing supernatural either, because it's the reflection of the bulb on the camera lens. Yep. In her mind, she's thinking that's her husband haunting her. And I did never get to talk to her directly, but I corresponded with her 2 or 3 times. And when she explained to me about that picture, that's her husband, that she killed him. I said, how did you kill him? He was alive when this picture was taken.
Right.
So I got a note from a doctor saying, you've made that woman's life so much better.
Oh, wow.
Okay, cool, great. And then, like I said, then there's the things you do you can't understand. There was a school that we used to investigate. It's no longer around. I had just did a series up there with people and everything, and we were getting ready to do an investigation. As I was coming down the steps, these are old concrete steps, I tripped. Whether it's my own big feet or whatever, I don't know. Well, you remember how when you were in grade school they had those plate glass windows that were two stories tall?
Yep.
And they had the metal beams in them?
Yep.
That's what I'm heading for. And I'm just tumbling. And I'm like, okay, well, the door was open. So I said, well, I'm gonna head for the door. Trying to aim for the door. Well, what I did was I got partially in and out. My right shoulder took the brunt on that metal I-beam, and I broke my shoulder, my collarbone, and my right forearm, and 4 ribs on the right side. So I got 75 people there, waiting to investigate. They traveled all over the country.
Right.
So I wasn't going to just walk away from it. So luckily one of my girls in the LGHS was a nurse, and she took these frozen bottles and just stuffed them in my leather vest.
Jeez.
Packing me down with ice.
Yeah.
All right, end of the night, we're down in the basement. Stuff is really happening, and I'm tired. I'm done. I'm hurting. And so I leave it over to my vice president at the time to take over. I sit down in this chair. This chair starts vibrating. I can't explain it. There's no electricity to this place whatsoever. So that just got crossed off. Nothing mechanical working. Nothing. And my vice president goes, well, if you're here and you're violent or you feel like being violent, there's Keith. He's just sitting there. And I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. Next thing I know, me and Chair and all both go flying through the air and land about 6 feet across the room. And what's the first thing you do when you go tumbling? You put your arm out.
Yeah.
And I just broke all that up and everything. And I landed in a big pile of busted glass. And I said, okay, I'm done. You know, don't know what it is. Don't care who you are. I'm done. You know. So I went outside for the next 20 minutes, and they all come out and says, everybody's leaving. That scared them to death.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it didn't do me much good either.
Well,
You're still doing it, man.
I mean,
That's impressive.
Who'd they sit in the chair next time, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, what was cool was I was standing there just observing, and there was 2 members of our group says, this chair, it's moving. And I walked over and I put my hand on it, and you can tell it's just it's doing it. Not, you know, not light. It's, you know, you can actually hear it tinging on the concrete floor.
Wow.
And I said, well, stupidly, I'll sit in the chair. You know? And they had their hands on the back of the chair, and sure enough, when it went flying with me in it, that's where the screams come from. These 2 people holding on to the chair. You know? Going, oh my God. So Ron, my vice president said, okay, we don't intimidate no more.
Yeah, let Zach Baggins do that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, we know how you feel about ghosts. Mm-hmm. What about other things like cryptids, aliens, that sort of stuff?
Filming, we were filming in the Badlands for Soul Catcher, and this is all Indian land. I saw some stuff that I can't explain. And of course, the Indians said that's Sasquatch. You know, there's in their mind several. Depends on which Indian folklore you look at.
Last week we covered Native American creatures. So
some of them say they're interdimensional beings.
Yes.
Some say they're woodland beings that can just disappear into the woods.
Right.
You know, evaporate. What I saw was just. The only way I can explain it to where my mind understands it was we were in this little bitty town that everybody, you know, it's not like a town like this, but this is Indian land. There's like 10, 15 houses. They all just got up and left.
Right.
Same time. School's deserted, you know, and a whole lot of everything, but nobody knows why or where they went to. There's still plates, but I mean, you know, the animals and stuff have ate the food that were on the plates, but they're still sitting there. And the only way I can explain this was when we're going out, it's broad daylight, but what I saw was like 2 red eyes on the eave of this house. This eave is 9 feet tall. And I was looking at it going, what is, I don't think someone's playing a laser or something, you know. And but that's 2, not 10, it's 2. And then all of a sudden it starts moving. And I'm going, okay. But it's not just going straight across, it's down, up, down, up. Down up, but you know, I'm like, what is this? And then once it got past the house, the only way I can say this is how I understand it. You remember the movie Predator?
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger.
Yep.
That thing shimmered. That's what I was seeing, but without the eyes until it got into the woods. And of course, the Indian guide's going, "That's the Sasquatch. He lives here."
They're always so. When I lived out in the Southwest a lot. They're very so nonchalant about everything. It's really great.
Yeah, he came over to dinner the other night.
Yeah.
So, you know.
He does my taxes.
We had a Wendigo swimming in our pool last night.
And I mean, I've got some good friends that are into the crypto stuff. Ken Burns, Lau Burns, and a few others. I mean, just, you know, if I have something, I have a question, I call them and say, what do you think? You know, one of the things I want to do, which still do, it's kind of my bucket list, is go to Texarkana and go down to Boggy Creek.
Boggy Creek, yeah.
See what we can find.
That's you know, we definitely are probably more ghost centric than anything, but through this show it's really opened us up to other things with other cryptids and aliens and things like that. And then my time out west in the desert, just all that good. So my family lives out in Phoenix, so like I always say when I'm gonna get out there, I'm gonna go out to Snowflake or places like that to like
Skinner.
yeah, exactly.
I've spent some time out there. Yeah.
Yep. So
Or Devil's Acre.
yeah, Devil's Acre. It's only 1 acre though.
Yeah, only one.
7
With a
deep.
big hole
Yep.
right in the middle of it.
Huh.
I'm not gonna go down it. I saw that movie, The Descent. I'm good. So we're kind of getting towards the end, and so you've been doing this a long time now. Where do you see it heading? And with you, are you looking to?
Well, it's still going strong. Matter of fact, in 2 weeks I got to go out of town to film a TV show for England.
Awesome.
Oh wow.
And, England is kind of behind us. The craze is there, but it's not as big as it has been here.
Boy, and they got a lot of stuff going on there, though.
Oh yeah, a lot of really old stuff
Yeah.
too.
No, well, they're actually coming filming here in America,
Oh okay.
and then we're talking about doing some things about over in jolly old England. But it's still going on, and as long as people don't get up here and do the whole take it for the serious side that's there, because I'll have fun with it. We've had fun with it,
Right.
but there is a serious side to it. But there's also the side of, look, this is a hobby. This is a faith-based hobby.
Yeah.
Amen.
Nothing more, nothing less. Until we find out A equals C, C equals F, it's something solid, something tangible.
Right.
It's like people get up and say, well, I'm here to help. And I'm like, what? Well, how do you even know what to help?
Yeah.
You don't we don't understand it. This could be some alien, some far off planet going, what's this?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I'm serious,
Right.
Even the psychic side of things. I mean, it's like we try to do stuff, but even then, we're like, I don't know if it's working. I'm just hoping it is. Like,
Yeah, how do you quantify a feeling?
yeah.
You can't. I'm here to say, look, I'm not here to help you. If I can help you with doing it, I will try to help you. But other than pointing you somewhere else,
Right.
I can't do much to help you other than or say, look, here's what's causing this. Here's what's not causing
Right.
this.
My grandfather used to say, and I say it all the time, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
Oh yeah,
So.
you got it.
It's true.
And I'm here to catch lightning in the bottle,
Yeah.
and so we can prove it. I mean, Einstein had his theories. Edison had his theories.
Right.
I mean, Edison even created a phone to the dead.
Yes. Yes, he did.
So we're talking early 1900s.
Yep.
The sisters that started all the whole system, of rapping and knocking.
Yeah. From the
I-
big medium craze.
Yeah, I can't think of their name. They
Can't
started that whole movement, and it was fake.
Yeah.
But still, it's now considered a religious ceremony.
Oh yeah. And you think about Houdini and all the stuff he was trying to do. Trying to disprove everything while also trying to prove everything. Like,
Right.
I can't imagine
Well, I
what
mean,
he was going through.
Everybody questions. Everybody questions what they don't understand, and everybody seeks for answers. Some people seek and find the answers in religion or faith. Scientific people seek and find the answers in science. Mystic people seek and find the answers in mysticism, so on and so forth. But everybody seeks for the answer. Even people who are not religious or faith-based still seek for and find an answer in their own way.
Yep. Well, that's just, some things have been proven. It's like people get up here and see things in the clouds. Well, when you see something in a picture, you're usually looking for a face or something that your brain understands. That's called pareidoia.
Right.
Okay? All right. People don't understand that our brains are wired that way to make sense of what we're seeing.
Right.
That's like, me and you both look up in the sky. I see Donald Duck. You see a fire-breathing dragon. But it's just
Our brains making sense of what we
right.
see.
That's all it is.
Right.
Right.
And that's the same thing. That's what we were talking about earlier. If you walk into a place believing it's haunted, it's gonna be haunted.
Right.
Yep.
If your brain's already telling you that, you've done lost it.
Right. Yep.
Real quick before we wrap up, I wanted to make reference to the Mid-South Paranormal Convention. This is fantastic. Are we getting it again next year?
I'm gonna take a break.
Gonna take a break next year?
After 20 years,
Wow.
it's just too much for one guy.
Yeah, I do improv comedy, and so I run the Damn Good Improv Festival, and I'm only in my 3rd year, and I'm stressed. So I can't imagine doing something as large as what you do.
I'm kind of slowing down a little bit. I'm getting older, and promised somebody that I'd slow down.
Hey, you're still looking funky fresh, okay?
I can live with that.
There you go.
But I'm stepping back, kind of enjoying things. I'm gonna play more music this year
Yeah,
with my
yeah.
band and everything.
We didn't say that, but you are the rock and roll ghost hunter. We love
I
that.
am the original
The
rock.
OG.
Yeah. When you know who the Ghost Brothers are, right?
Yeah, uh-huh.
We were at a convention, the first time I'd ever met them, and we're walking down a hallway with 10,000 people, and they're screaming, "We're walking down the hallway with the OG!" and I'm thinking, oh, they mean the original gangster,
Yeah.
No, the old ghost hunter. Gee,
Yep.
thanks, guys.
Bobby Mackey don't have nothing on you, man.
No, I've been going there since 1996.
I'm sure, yeah. But yeah, I wanted to make a shout out. People want to find you. They can find you at LouisvilleGHS.com, correct?
Yes, don't go to LouisvilleGhostHuntersSociety.com. That's a Japanese porno site.
Don't go there if you don't want to see pictures of Keith.
LouisvilleGHS.com.
Wow.
And is there anything else you wanted to shout out or anything before we get out of here?
No, just, if you think you got something going on, give us a yell. We're free. We don't charge anything. If somebody comes out and says, "Hey, I'll charge you X amount of dollars to get rid of your ghosts," you know what you do to them? You shoot them.
Just shoot them. And in Kentucky, you can. So go ahead and do that. But yeah, once again, that's LouisvilleGHS.com. Check that out. If you're interested, you can reach out there or on the Facebook page. And, even if you just want to get involved, reach out, all that stuff. And once again, Keith, thank you so much for coming on. I wish we had 4 more hours. I would love to just sit here forever and talk to you.
Anytime when you do the Exorcist thing, let me know.
Absolutely, yeah. We absolutely will.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I really do.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, thank
Had
you.
fun.
So Keith Age and the Louisville Ghost Hunters Society, make sure to check them out. Make sure to check out 100.9 FM WCHQ as well as the Destination Nation Network. That's at destinationcomics.com/DNN. And we got to get out of here, Josh. Yep. But it has been a great episode. I'm so pumped. But on that, we got to roll. So this has been Stefan. I will catch you on the flip side.
This is Josh. The truth is out there.
All right. Don't forget to hold those blankets extra tight, folks. We'll catch you next time.
Good night.